Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth and welcome to another Shed Sessions. Today we're going to cook for you baked potato with a vegetable caviar. So it's a very simple dish. Oh, and a kale smoked butter sauce. So it's a really simple dish, and you know I love a baked potato. All we're going to do with the potato, and these are Mary's Piper potatoes, is simply brush them with some smoked butter and bake them for 50 minutes. Okay, but let's run through all our ingredients first before we put those into the oven. So we've got some diced tomato here. Here I've got some vegetable stock, some cherry tomatoes and some chili with a pinch of salt and a pinch of sugar. And that we're going to blitz, pass and reduce down to make our vegetable caviar, which goes into our lentils. So we've got some pea lentils here. So they're cooked. Cook those off. Just simply, cook them in a veg stock with some seasoning. We've got smoked butter, and on here we've got a pan with some veg stock, and we're going to put some white wine and a little bit of vinegar in there for our smoked butter sauce. And then we've got some spring onions here, which we're going to pickle. And then we've got our kale, which is going to go into the sauce. So quite a bit of ingredient for a very simple dish, but let's see it all come together. Oh, don't forget the creme fraiche, he said, because the creme fraiche we need on the top there to make our dish really sing. Okay, right. Without further ado, let's brush our Mary's Piper potatoes. And we've got a medium potato because we don't want a huge, great potato. And we want one big enough that's going to make a start, because we're talking about a starter here. Give it a good old brushing. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Malden sea salt on the top. Pop those into the oven for 50 minutes, and it's 180 degrees C, 180 degrees. Okay, so that's nice and simple. Just pop that over there. In this pan here, got our veg stock, so we're going to pop that on now. And because I want that to reduce by 2/3 when I put the wine in there, we're going to put that on a high heat so we can get that done and reduced. And there's our vinegar. So I want roughly about 100 ml. Which is about there. And just a few drops of white wine vinegar. Goes away. Okay, so veg stock 200 ml, white wine 100, a few drops of cider vinegar, and that we're going to reduce down. Okay, so here we're going to put our lentils. I think the next thing we should do is pickle our spring onions, and just going to cut them in half, and then we need to nice and finely slice those. And then the pickle that I've got there, a bit of cord away. And there we go. And we're going to pop those back into our container. And then just before we started filming, I heated this up, so this is really nice and hot. So put that over there. our spring onions are pickled. Right, so here we've got 200 grams of cherry tomatoes, 100 veg stock, and we've got some chilli, a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. I'm just going to pop that into our bullet and give it a blitz. We're going to infuse some basil in there as well when it goes on, but I'm going to put that in right at the end. So just pass that through a sieve. And we're going to reduce that right back to a syrup so that we can warm our lentil caviar and put the reduction of chilies, tomatoes, veg stock around it, and it really makes it lovely and tangy and really refreshing. So I'm going to pop that into our pan here. Pop that over there. Okay, and then we'll pop that onto number 7 and get that cooking away. Okay. Here are tomatoes. We want to put, so all I've done with these tomatoes is simply blowtorch them, taking the peel away, cut them in half, cut them in a quarter, then taking the seeds out and then just dice them in a lovely small dice. And I'm going to pop some lime juice on. I'm going to pop some icing sugar. So I want really sweet and sour here. And I need to put a good bit of salt because we've got to get those tomatoes to really kick out the flavour. Like so. And then I've got a little bit of the infamous chili oil. I'll put that in there. And then I can just mix that together, and I'll check the seasoning on that just before we use them. Okay. That's a lovely mix, so you get that beautiful flavour of the tomatoes heightened with the salt and the sugar. It's seriously lovely. Okay, right. That's coming up to the boil. That's still boiling away. Let's look at our kale. So kale is banging season now. It sort of feels like an autumn winter vegetable, and all I've done here is pick them. So just simply like that, pick them, and I've got them here picked and washed and ready to go. Okay, so what I want to do here is just shred up the kale. Okay. That over there. We'll get those potatoes out now. Wow. Okay, so they're 50 minutes in the oven, and just going to let them cool down a little touch now before I start to work with them. But a Maris Piper is a floury potato, so it needs to be fluffy and light. You don't want a sort of a really dense potato. Okay, so your Maris Piper, your King Edwards, your Wilgers, those sort of potatoes are great for this type of dish. Okay, let me just have a little look there. Okay, that's not too far away. So here we can pop this on now, number 5, and I'm going to pop a little bit of olive oil in there, which is our chili oil, which we're going to then cook our kale in. So need to carefully just take that top away. Quite delicate in a way. Okay. And then have I got a fork in here? I hope so. Yeah. So I want to fork up. I'm going to pop that down in front of me. And just fork up some of the potatoes. So this is like a cross, sort of in between, like just a baked potato and a what I call a potato skin. So we're going to take some of the potato out, but not a lot, about half of it. Whoa. It's hot stuff. Right, and I'm just looking at that there now. So I'm going to turn that right down. This needs to go a little bit further, and the butter sauce is about ready. So I'll turn that right down just while I finish off these potatoes, and pop that in there. And of course, when you're doing this at home, you don't need to do everything together. You can have this, you can have your kale done, you can have your reduction done, you can have your butter sauce ready. So this is all for your benefit, so that you can see everything being done. It's my excuse anyway. A wee bit of salt, only a wee bit. And then with the kale, I'm just going to pop it onto number 4 and just add a little bit of water in there, and just give that a bit of a stew down and pop the lid on. Okay. Right. And hopefully I can, yeah, that's one there. I mean, if you want to do this at home for, you know, obviously you can get a bigger potato and do it bigger, but this is just if you've got a few friends around, you want a nice, I like to say, I like to think as well, simple starter. Some of you might be thinking it's not just as simple as he says, but it's not difficult. Okay, so those potatoes are done there. Okay, that's ready, so I can pop my lentils in there and give those a stir. That's going to put a wonderful flavour onto our lentils. Just need to make sure that that's turned off now, to be burning that, and that's fine. And then with our, this is quite a tricky, we just need to brush the inside with butter. And on the top, this is our smoked butter from before. So you've got sort of half of the potato still left in, because you want to eat the potato, and then we just want to season that a little bit, and they go back into our oven. And I'm going to pop a little bit just on that side of the tray, just a little bit of the butter. And they go face down there, like so. Oh, don't forget the tops. The tops as well can go at the side. Okay, and we can get rid of that. Right, let's have a look at our kale. It's turning down, so we'll turn that down to number 2. And that looks okay. Right, and let's make our butter sauce now. So don't forget, you wouldn't do everything all together like I'm doing, for obvious reasons. So you could get obviously your lentils are cooked, so you can get your lentils cooked, you can get your tomato reduction done and that all set, and then just gently make your butter sauce. So here we go with our butter sauce. So just a couple of knobs to start off with of butter, and remember this is our smoked butter. This is done by Chris Sandham, who's the cheesemaker out at Goosney. So here we go, last few knobs of butter. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of lime, just squeeze a lime into our butter sauce there, and that's nice and ready. And I'm going to pop the kale in there now. So I'll move the whisk out and that's that pan there, get rid of. And I'm going to pop our lentils, I'm going to put a little bit of, just a little touch of oil in there with them. Wow, don't they look so good? And get rid of that. Okay, so we condense everything down now, so I can bring my butter sauce over here now, and I'm going to just pop, as I said, I'll pop a little bit of seaweed powder, which is smoked, which I have here. Just going to pop a little bit in there, and then some to garnish on our potato. And then, should we grab the dish? Just pop a little bit there. Okay, right, and get a little bit of my pickle out of there, and a little bit of my tomato. And I said I'd try the tomato, didn't I? Oh, it's yummy. And pop that there. Take the lid off our creme fraiche, and I think we're ready to go. So, should we grab a potato? What we need to do now is mix a little bit of potato, a little bit of caviar, and I'm just going to put a small amount, I'll get another spoon, a small amount of our butter sauce in there, and also a little bit of caviar, a little bit of creme fraiche before we put our caviar in. And all the ingredients here are highly seasoned, so we need to pop those in like so. And then I need to pop some of our butter sauce in there. Then the pièce de resistance is you've got to put your top back on, get your creme fraiche on top and your caviar to garnish. The creme fraiche is there, and the caviar, we can allow the caviar to sit proud. go. And you want plenty of this on, because this just makes it so wonderful. After the butter sauce on, and then simply pop the potato in the middle there. So there you go, that's our baked Maris Piper with our vegetable caviar and a smoked kale butter sauce. I hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth. If you like what you've just seen, then subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on social media. Enjoy!